Yeah, thanks, Tom. So Vikram just spoke to this also, that the idea that going into this year, installer confidence was at an all-time high about the health of the solar industry. And something that we've heard a lot in the last month is the fundamentals of the economy are still good. This isn't like the Great Recession. This isn't like the Great Depression. We're just putting everything on hold, and then it's going to restart. And originally we were hearing V-shaped recovery, et cetera. And Martha, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, is that still true? Or has the shock that the economy has experienced in the last 4 weeks causing maybe similar effects to what we've seen in past recessions or even depressions?
Thanks. So there's two parts to this question. Let's just get a fact on the ground. Consumer buying is 70% of our economy's GDP. So we do want to watch consumers and how they react. And within that 70%, the two highest quintiles of household income comprise most of that consumer spending. So bottom line, about half of GDP is controlled by 40% of US households. And that's who I think we've been selling to in solar. And they have had FICO scores. We have been able to finance FICO scores going down a bit, but let's say 680 and above. What happens to the folks on the margin around 700, 680, 660, and so on? That's the intersection right there of the massive unemployment that we're seeing and consumer credit and our ability to get out of the economy using financed products. And so I think, to be honest, we're seeing so much unemployment. It's rising rapidly. 3 states are already above 16% unemployment rates, and there's 17 states above 10%. 10% was the rate we had in the Great Recession in 2008. So my point is there's a lot of spillover right now from unemployment into the target market where we have been selling solar. So as we pull out that white paper and rethink solar sales models, I think in addition to digital online selling, we need to think about collateralization and securing the financing of solar with less reliance on consumer credit ratings, if we can, so that we can maintain the size of the target market, hopefully even expand it with new white paper. But as you can see, these pieces interlock. And finally, I would conclude that the stimulus programs are designed to really target that marginal, 60th percentile down to 40th percentile household, which we thought was on steady footing, but may need help through this economy with unemployment supplements or the $1,200 funding that every household's getting and so on. Those things spill over into credit, sentiment, and so on. So the dance is here between the 3 parts. And it looks a little dicey right now. And it looks dicey because of the slowness to get the money out. And then particularly in small business, which is half the employees in the US economy. Okay, today was payroll day. How many small businesses will be able to make payroll in 2 weeks? The average small business has 28 days of cash on hand. We've expired that 28 days right around now. And so the next 2 weeks look to me like the turnover point. Are we getting the money out to small businesses, or are we going to see a wave of bankruptcies?
Thank you, Martha. I just want to follow up that last point. Is the stimulus aimed at the right parts of the economy in order to reduce the shock optimally, I guess?
That's a really well-posed question because the stimulus has a transition mechanism. If credit is the grease of the economy and the stimulus was just flowing along perfectly greased wheels, banks would have approved these small business loans like nobody's business. And we wouldn't be having this conversation. But every single one of those snags along the way creates more economic disarray and makes it harder to recover. And so I'm watching the transmission of funds from the stimulus programs to the end party, and the tightening of credit that we've talked about on this call can actually cause a contraction in and of itself.
Great. Thank you, Martha.